How to load large CSV files in Pandas without memory errors. Imagine trying to carry a huge stack of books all at once and realizing your arms can't hold them. That's what loading a big CSV file into Pandas can feel like if your computer runs out of memory. When working with large data files, loading everything at once can cause errors because your system simply can't handle the load. But don't worry, there are smart ways to get around this problem and still analyze your data efficiently. One of the best tricks is to read the CSV file in smaller pieces called chunks. Pandas has a parameter called chunksize in its readCSV function that lets you load a set number of rows at a time. For example, setting chunksize to 10,000 means you load only 10,000 rows each time. You can then process each chunk separately, like filtering or aggregating data, and avoid using too much memory all at once. This method is perfect for working with very large files that can be hundreds of millions of rows long. Another helpful tip is to load only the columns you need. If your CSV has 50 columns but you only care about 3, use the usicalls parameter. This reduces the amount of data your program needs to handle, which saves memory and speeds up your work. For example, if you only want the columns called sales, date, and region, specify those in your readCSV call. Specifying data types explicitly is also a good idea. Pandas guesses data types when loading files, but this can lead to larger memory usage. For example, large integer columns might default to a type called int64, which takes more space. Instead, tell Pandas to use int32 or even int16 if your numbers are small. Similarly, converting text columns with few unique values to the category type can cut down memory use significantly. If your CSV files are compressed, like zipped or gzip files, Pandas can read them directly by setting the compression parameter. This can save disk space and sometimes speed up loading, but keep in mind that decompression uses some CPU power. While reading large files in chunks, you can also process each piece right away. For example, you might filter out rows that don't meet certain criteria or sum up values before moving to the next chunk. This way, you never need to load the entire dataset into memory at once. Lastly, consider using other libraries designed for big data. Libraries like Dask or Vaex work similarly to Pandas but are built to handle data that doesn't fit into your system's memory. They can process data in parallel or out of memory, making large data analysis much easier. Here is an example of how you might load a big CSV file in chunks. You set the chunk size to 10,000, specify only the columns you need, and define data types to keep memory use low. Then, you process each chunk separately, like printing the first few rows or doing calculations. This approach keeps your program running smoothly without running into memory errors. By combining these methods, reading in chunks, selecting only necessary columns, setting efficient data types, and processing data as you go, you can work with large CSV files in Pandas without any trouble. It's all about being smart with how you load and handle your data, making your analysis faster and more reliable.